So, veto session starts Tuesday. If you're not familiar with how State House action plays out, well, if you're tuned in, I'm going to be on the ground giving you all the latest. So be sure to like, subscribe. I've got over 7,000 subscribers, guys. It blows me away, and it just continues to grow. So keep spreading the word, because I think it's crucial people know what's going on with their state government. There's a lot of focus on what's going on in D.C. No question, there's a lot of focus of what's going on over in the Middle East or with Russia and Ukraine. But I don't know if people realize just how impactful local and state government are. And one of my goals, and quite frankly a passion of mine, is to disseminate information to people and to let them know what's going on. Thankfully I get paid to do it, and it's something that I enjoy doing, but you guys out there, you're working your own jobs, your own careers, you've got your own families, and you can't pay attention. But I'm going to hopefully provide that portal for you to stay plugged into what's going on with play-by-play action at the Illinois State House with fall veto session. So follow me, follow the other organizations that I'm a part of. My full-time gig, of course, is the Center Square Illinois Radio Network. Definitely think about donating to the Center Square, a nonprofit news organization. So you can do that, and just stay tuned, of course, for Bishop on Air updates as well, because we'll be kind of talking each day about recapping what's going on at the Illinois State House for fall veto session. But fall veto session's coming up. It's 3 days scheduled for legislative action next week, and then 3 days the second week of November. Those are the final 6 days scheduled for the year, and there's a lot they got to do. Not only do they have to, deal with vetoes that the governor made, including a veto of lifting the moratorium on nuclear power. You've got vetoes dealing with food service for schools and a variety of other things, but you've also got questions about the Invest in Kids school scholarship program. You've got questions about healthcare subsidies for non-citizen migrants. You've got a whole host of other things that could come up during fall veto session, including something else we'll keep an eye on, the issue of orders of protection and whether or not police are going to be required to confiscate firearms if there's an OP issued. So those are all things that we could look at for fall veto session. But one of the big things, obviously, up front is going to be how to deal with power, energy, and the state's ongoing, struggle with coal-fired versus nuclear versus solar, wind, and other new types of alternative energy policies. Here's Governor J.B. Pritzker yesterday talking about what could happen with the nuclear moratorium that passed to lift the moratorium, but he vetoed that bill. He seems open to the idea of lifting it, but he says the language just has to be right.
I think it'll be similar, but one of the challenges in the original bill, and it's what I wrote in my veto message, and I wish I could have mandatorily vetoed it, but it was just written in a way that I couldn't, is that it was focused in part on allowing large-scale nuclear plants to be built in Illinois, and that's not what the bill was originally intended to be about. We do want to see small modular reactors, as they become available, allow us to build factories, manufacturing, other things that need a lot of power in central and southern Illinois, where nuclear power isn't normally available and where you'd have to draw some significant transmission lines to those locations. You don't need that with SMRs. So that's what I want to see introduced. It hasn't been introduced, that, as far as I know, an amended bill, and that's what I would sign.
So again, the governor indicating what he would sign with some kind of lifting of the nuclear moratorium. So that'll be a focus for fall veto session. Another focus for fall veto session could be things that he didn't even deal with a veto. One, the Invest in Kids school scholarship program. That's a program that came about during the Rauner administration, a Republican governor who had a Democrats-dominated legislature, and part of the school funding reform that they brought about in 2018, 2019, had a provision to allow for school choice. And the Invest in Kids school scholarship program is the state's only school choice program, but it's set to expire at the end of this calendar year. The program's helped out thousands of families that are not happy with their kids' public school. They feel their kids' public school's failing them for whatever reason, be it they need special needs or, they're just not being challenged enough or whatever the case may be, but they're of a family of lesser means. So the Invest in Kids School Scholarship Program allows for those families to be able to, have their chance to have school choice. So private dollars, and this is the thing about the Invest in Kids School Scholarship Program, it's not tax dollars, it's private dollars going to funds that then are used to give to these families. Those private dollars who donate to the fund get a 75% Illinois income tax credit on those donations. The program's capped at $100 million, so there can't be more than $100 million donated. People push back on this and say that it's taking away from tax dollars by having these types of credits involved. But the public schools and the teachers unions, they have messages out there that indicates they're not too happy with the idea of allowing for these types of subsidies. They see it to draw away from public schools. So the teachers union actually putting out a statement saying that they believe that the Invest in Kids voucher scheme acknowledges that more white students have been helped by the program than anyone else, even though proponents, the teachers union says, have tried to tout the program as helping black and brown students. So you're going to hear a lot about this in the veto session. Governor J.B. Pritzker, though, he says that, the program's getting set to expire at the end of this year in the middle of a school year, and you got to imagine what that does to kids, but he says he's open to approving some kind of extension for the Invest in Kids School Choice Scholarship Program. Here's the governor, and fire away.
Said that, and I think both sides are lobbying the various folks in the General Assembly. I will support it if it comes to my desk to extend the program in whatever form. I can't imagine it would show up in some form that I would be unwilling to. But again, the reality is that the legislature needs to go through this process, and I've said that from the very beginning.
Have you heard if those conversations are ongoing? If we could see one of those proposals come
I have not. I've heard that, just read in the news that there's some language that's been proposed, but I actually have not seen a bill introduced, and I think that's where the rubber meets the road.
It really is, because, they built into the Invest in Kids Act a sunset of December 31st, 2023, and now they've got to either lift that sunset or make it permanent, or they put another sunset 5 years down the road, or however they want to make that happen. So it's really up to the legislature. Again, back to the conversation I had with State Senator Jason Plummer, he also addressed the Invest in Kids School Scholarship Program.
I hear the other side always talk about opportunity, and they always talk about difficult circumstances people are stuck in. Well, the most difficult circumstances anyone is stuck in is kids that are forced to go to failing schools, who don't get the education that they need and the education they deserve, the education that the taxpayers of Illinois paid for. It amazes me when I see how much money is spent on education, how much money goes to some of these schools, and they utterly fail in educating future generations. I think it's tragic. I think it's immoral. I think it's sad. And we need to make sure that kids are given an opportunity in Illinois. And the best way to make sure kids are given an opportunity in Illinois is to give them the right to go to a school that's going to provide them the tools that they need to be successful, the tools that they need to compete. And too many kids are getting pushed out of schools, graduated out of schools, without the skills and the knowledge they need to be successful. And I think that's tragic. So I hope that Republicans and Democrats can put their partisan beliefs to the side. I hope they can look at the issue at hand, and the issue at hand is not enough kids in Illinois are getting the education they need to compete in today's economy.
And that's, a lot of different factors involved, be it the quality of the teachers, be it the lack of resources, some say. But when you look at how much, say, Chicago public schools get per student, it's like $23,000 per student. The state average is $16,000 per student. And you look at some of the more rural areas, and you've got about $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 per public school student. So obviously there's $10 billion going to public schools in Illinois. The argument some make, schools are failing children. The public school teachers unions say we need more resources to not fail the students, while you've got others who are saying school choice is really the only way. Is it going to be, morphing into a voucher type of system? Is it going to be keeping with this type of school scholarship type system? Or how exactly are you going to be able to do this? Making, for instance, your tax dollars follow your students? So obviously that's an ongoing conversation. Who knows how much of that's going to be dominating the fall veto session, but you got 6 days left. All right, 6 days left of state's legislative session for this calendar year before some big things happen, right? And again, energy, obviously, is going to be an issue. Will the migrant crisis be an issue? Will invest in kids be a focus? What about gun control? You've got that orders of protection measure that could come up during fall veto session. And that would require police to confiscate firearms if there's an OP. Right now, somebody who has an OP against them can transfer their firearms to somebody else. It doesn't have to be police. So that's going to be a contentious issue as well. But then you also have other things like Senator Plummer's bill to require that individuals who purchased firearms in a 6-day window, there was an injunction against the state's law banning these firearms. Will that come up? Will that measure that Senator Plummer wants to hold people harmless for, instead of having them possibly face having to get rid of their thousands of dollars in investments, or face potential felony charges? All of these things we will be monitoring, and if you like, subscribe, and follow, we'll definitely be updating you each and every weekday morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Greatly appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much for hanging out. Be sure to let me know when you get your patch, all right? Because I want to see the pictures. It's pretty rewarding seeing how many of you out there are tuning in every weekday morning. So, hey, I think 7:30 is kind of a sweet spot. I think that might be when we go live. But I'm telling you what, I'm either gonna have to get up just a smidge bit early. It's been nice sleeping in, but man, if I work out before coming onto the camera, that shower does not take. That shower does not take. So I might have to either work out after I hang out with you guys in the mornings, or whatever the case may be. That's just a bit of vanity coming out here on the live broadcast. Bishop on Air. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of the day. Let me know you got your patches. Email me anytime, bishoponair@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever. Hey, just hang out with me, all right? It's Bishop on Air. Happy Friday.